5 o'clock on a Monday. Let's do it. Let's hit the books. Part of the Hammer Betting Network, alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire Zach Phillips. I am merely Brad Powers. Before we recap rivalry weekend, a big weekend of college football, obviously the Iron Bowl, the big game between Ohio State and Michigan. Before we recap best bets and look ahead to the conference championship games, 10 of them on deck for this upcoming weekend. Before we get to all of that and much more, let me remind you guys that Hit the Books brought to you by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always getting the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across every sports book for games, futures, and player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. You can download the app today. If you are looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/hitthebooks, or you can hit the link in the description. If you sign up through this page, it does help support the show. Knish, what's happening, my main man? You can take a victory lap as far as your Wolverines getting a third straight win and cover over the Buckeyes. Must be good sitting there in Southeast Michigan.
I tell you what, haven't seen anything like this since I was a very young Joey K. So, what a kind of a razor thin game there. It kind of one of those that could have went either way. I think you got the break. For a lot of years in this rivalry, it didn't matter. Yeah, the Ohio State was so much better. It didn't matter. You get 30 breaks, you weren't going to beat them. This was one that you won. This was the slimmest of margins, right? The turnover battle. A couple of fourth down decisions. Things go either way, and it went Michigan's way, and to see Ryan Day moping all the way to the locker room there. This one fought, and to go even more, I've heard a few people mention this, and a little bit like this might have been the last Michigan-Ohio State game with these kind of stakes where,
good point.
Now it's a 12-team playoff. They both would have got in. Is the Big Ten championship going to look like this anymore? Are they going to change the schedule around? And a lot that was kind of a lot of rivalry weekend where it was just kind of bittersweet. So great Michigan win. I don't know. We're both college football guys. Kind of one of those getting to the age that they're changing everything. I'm sure it'll be fine, but one of those that you kind of hate to see some of these. Even Michigan is still going to play, but it'll probably never be like this again.
Very good point. I didn't know you were going to go there, but yeah, I totally agree with you. Everyone crying for the 12-team playoff. These types of big regular season games, a sense of urgency isn't going to be there. One of the things I love college football is a sense of urgency. Every freaking week matters. I like that because that's kind of who I am as a person. So, yeah, you are going to lose something like that. But I echo your sentiments. Back and forth game. Obviously, not only turnovers, fourth downs, but Ohio State misses a long field goal. I don't know what Dave was doing there. He could have set up for a shorter field goal there or taken a shot to the end zone. Yeah, Marvin Harrison before the half. Let's take a shot. Doesn't trust McCord. I said this before at the end of the half situation against Penn State. He's not doing that with C.J. Stroud at quarterback in past years. So that was evident. And also I thought when Michigan needed that long drive, take 7-8 minutes off the clock, they got it. Well, for all the hubbub about Ohio State being more physical and whatnot, Michigan still was able to run down their throats when they needed to. So I thought that was a major telling point. And we'll see. It's kind of maybe a swan song as far as Michigan here. This was, we'll see what happens next year. But I'll tell you this, Ryan Day obviously is going to stay at Ohio State, but he better get Michigan next year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Michigan's going to graduate a bunch. Obviously, Ohio State's out-recruited Michigan, so we'll see what happens. But 3 in a row for Michigan. Kudos there. How about the Iron Bowl? I forgot that. Totally forgot because I didn't have much on the game. I forgot I had Alabama win total under 10.5. Oof, that was rough. And then when I thought about that, the fourth and goal from the 31, that hurt to say the least. But Alabama survives there. I don't like rushing 3, to be honest with you. If anything,
Either do I. In those.
Pressure Milroe. You're at the 31. He wants to run. That's his first instinct. Make him run. He's got to run 30 yards. If he runs for a 30-yard touchdown, then so be it. Don't let him sit back there for 10 seconds and have your DBs try to cover wide receivers for 10 seconds. Horrific by Auburn. Kudos. They were ready to play. And I guess I should have seen that because they're entirely a different team than what they were the week before. But man, that was horrific by Auburn, only rushing 3.
Yeah, I mean, that was one. It looked. You watch the play, and it almost is like too easy. Like he's got some one-on-one coverage. They're never gonna call the little shove there. They never call any of that stuff, and he gets him open. Not like it took some. It just kind of went to the corner of the end zone and had him there. So I agree with you. I never like the 3-man rush in those situations.
No.
You give him too much time. You move him off the spot, and he was able to kind of just, sit around in the pocket. So, but that one got me off the couch where I was like, oh my God. So, yeah, that was one, we had talked about a week that like Auburn basically took the week off versus New Mexico State to prep for this Alabama game. And you would have said that was the victory where you're like, okay, you get Bama, you get to 7 wins, all is forgiven. You lose that one. And, year 2 of, at least going into the offseason, the first year of Hugh doesn't have the same glow to it as it would have with a victory over Bama.
Certainly. A little bit opportunity lost, to say the least. They had Alabama there for the taking. The second time that's happened, 2 straight times at Jordan Hare there where they had him. I mean, a couple years ago, it was Tank Bigsby not falling down. If he falls down, Bryce Young doesn't have enough time to make the drive. So I just got to get it in my head that Auburn's an auto play anytime Alabama's at Auburn. I got to get that in my head, thought process. Let's talk best bets. It was a Black Friday, not black in the bank account. It was as bad of a day as I've ever had. I mean, I had a mutiny on my hands for the paid clients. Just didn't win anything. I mean, we didn't win anything here. Nebraska was, just unbelievably bad. I 1-4. Oregon was our only winner, but by that time, I mean, I was already down in the dumps there. So that was bad. But as bad as Friday was, did rebound Saturday, went 4-1. So we split out. Thought the portfolio was great. 5-5 split out. That's pretty much the story of the season, man. It never got over the hump.
Yeah, I hear you. Just we're never able to have one of those, real heater weeks there, and kind of pushing it. And I know I remember I was with you after that Nebraska game. Honestly, one of my favorite plays in and that second half really drove me into like that. The fact that they get the phantom holding call to bring it back. The last interception by Purdy, where the guy is right in front of him. How do you throw it to him? Like, how do you not see the guy standing right in front of you? Yeah, that was one that, and I know they got outplayed in the first half, but the turnover, the second half, Iowa didn't have a first down until the very last drive. So yeah, that was a rough one and a rough Friday. At least we were able to get. Yeah,
Gabriel plays. We were talking about that on Friday morning. He plays. Oklahoma's offense.
You would have told me they scored 50 points. I would have said, they would have run out, right? But they can't get a stop the entire game. So, yeah, that was another one there that hurt. So, and, of course, our boys from Kent, a no-doubt cover to end the season for Northern Illinois. Probably should have won the game outright as a 21-point dog. So, just kind of the way it shook out this season. So, yeah, but at least the Saturday went okay.
Yeah, Washington State, Virginia Tech, San Jose State, no doubt covers there. So that helped.
I thought Jacksonville State, another right side one where, and again, my boys from Las Cruces, it's all coming up Las Cruces this year where he's across the line of scrimmage. They should have won. They outgain them. They out-yard. So, yeah, that was another tough one there. Another play that I was on pretty big. So a couple of my weighted plays there, Nebraska and Jacksonville State, didn't come through.
That's a good segue. Let's get right to the comments here. Spammy Sosa talking about New Mexico State. He still believes in Joey K, Diego Pavia, and he's considering hedging New Mexico State future. What's the best way to go about that? Obviously, I'm going to give you a standard answer. Is it life-changing money? As far as when it comes to hedging, if it's not, then I let it ride. Obviously, you're going to look at Liberty, try to get the cheapest money line as possible in that regard. But if it's not life-changing money, I usually don't hedge. And that would go for any of these games as far as hedging. And I'll also say this. If you do like the other side legitimately, like say, hey, I like Liberty in this game, then make the bet. Then make the bet on Liberty. If not, just don't hedge to hedge as far as I'm concerned, unless it's life-changing money. What do you think about that?
I agree. You know what? I on some of the look ahead, I bet some more New Mexico State at 14, 13 and a half, 13. So I that's when I thought the number would be good. It is good. So bet some more. Now I will say, live, if it gets to around a pick -150, something like that, or New Mexico State scores first, and I can get a cheap Liberty money line. Yeah, I'm gonna shave some off there because I actually bet more on this than when I was going through some pending tickets. I bet a little more on this than I thought I did. So yeah, it'd be a nice year here. Not like I'm gonna be retired in the Las Cruces Islands if I win it, but at the same time, am I gonna lay like a -400 pregame on Liberty? No, like I just I don't think that's a good value bet as you're saying there. Like I don't think Liberty's especially with the way New Mexico State's been playing for the last 5 weeks. So
10 straight covers for New Mexico
10
State.
straight. That makes me a little nervous there. 10 straight covers, I tell you. Gun to my head, but now where the line is, I think.
Yeah, what do you think line wise? I actually lean Liberty.
I would say at 9.5, I'd be Liberty. At 10.5, I'm probably a little New Mexico State. I did know some people I work with that bet over 54 today. Still some 54.5s out there. So that was the only the actionable stuff I got in was a little bit of over. I think the side, if I tell you what, if a 9.5 props, I'll probably buy back on some Liberty.
Yeah. I did circa open 9. I laid it with Liberty.
Yeah, I think under 10 is probably the right side.
I won't get, maybe Scott Van Pelt features it tonight, but Liberty, that was a bad beat when you snuck in a couple touchdowns there late to get the back door. Not great. And UMass backdoored them too the week before. So it'd be interesting to see if we get 60 minutes of Liberty here. That we'll see. Interesting Conference USA Championship game. Let's get to some more here. The other game on Friday night, Desert Rat, Washington pass game ain't what it used to be. I'm thinking about going under their team total. Thoughts? Yeah, I could see that. Do we got widely available team totals up already in the market? I laid it. I know a lot of your mainstream media are going to be stunned at this line. I laid it with Oregon. I do not like this Washington team. I think we might see a blowout here.
Yeah, it's one of those where, we were obviously like the Wazoo position. They probably should have won that game. Looking back outright, they missed a lot of opportunities there at the second half. It does seem like a Washington team that, to make it through their schedule undefeated is unbelievable. But now they're really up against it here against an Oregon team they probably should have lost to the first time. A better defense, a more physical team. And I don't know. Penix hasn't been, I don't know if you're the flu, a little banged up. I don't know what's going on, but he hasn't played at the same level. And that's really Washington's passing offense is their bread and butter. They need to have any chance in this game. He's going to need one of those, like, first half of the season, 400-yard, 4-touchdown type of performances. I don't know if they got it in him anymore. So, I lean with you. I know a lot of people are on Oregon early. It just seems like the Washington kind of the storybook season is going to come to an end here.
I'm not saying it's going to be TCU Georgia, but Washington, I don't know. When you look at very similar profiles, like what TCU had like 10 straight wins by 10 points or less. Washington has 8 straight wins by 10 points or less. They're certainly more capable than TCU. I think they're better than what TCU was last year, but man, I can see Oregon blowout. They have motivational margin. Let's get Bo Nix the Heisman. Revenge for the game that they thought they blew the opportunity. Might need margin for the playoffs. We could have a nightmare scenario here. If all the favorites win on Saturday, it'll be the first time, since year one of the playoff where maybe a really deserving team gets left out for a change. Zach couldn't find the team total. We'll revisit that one on Friday as far as team totals when they're more widely available. But I like the thought process there. My numbers say I haven't bet the under yet, but my numbers say bet under and obviously play against Washington. So I get that. Charles in the chat, loyal listener here. Gold Knowles is Sunbelt Billy safe. Keep him forever. Complete clown, but seems inevitable. He gets fired at some point next year with their schedule. Players spitting on the opposing team. Love rivalry week. Yeah, I think he gets one more year, but I don't know why I don't see him turning around next year with that schedule. It's way harder than this year's schedule, and I just don't see it. So another 500 season for them should get him the axe. What's your thoughts on the Knowles? kudos. They're down 12-0. They rally. Nice team win, but I mean, the market wasn't buying it. A lot of Louisville money. I'm part of the Louisville money this week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the first half, Rodemaker looked like, whoa, boy, like this is a disaster. So give it to them for the resilience to come back and win that game. Actually, covers the closer there. He was a lot better in the second half. Do you buy this? Like an undefeated FSU could get left out?
You can't do that. I mean, some people are saying, the Kenyon Martin, if you're long timers in basketball, when Cincinnati, when he got hurt,
you
can't, man. Unbeaten.
I agree.
And that'd be two of their better wins of the season, honestly, on the road against Florida and then a good Louisville team. I
can't fathom, like, to me, that would be a disgrace if they got left out. And I'm no, Florida State ACC fan, but why play the season? Like, okay, the quarterback got hurt, but you can't downgrade, like, leave somebody out if they win all their games, against an ACC. So I agree. I think that's a little ridiculous. But I've heard it bantered about. Now, in terms of, I tell you, this line's really
starting to get too cheap, to be honest with you.
I kind of, it's man, to go through 3 here. And I know some people, there was a strong move on the under. That was another one that,
I like,
and I agree with there. At 2.5 though, man, I can't.
I made it 3.
Yeah, I think honestly, if the FSU, looks like there's even a minus 122 at our friends at Sport Trade there. If the FSU money line gets cheap enough, I'd probably be in on a little money line there.
Yeah, I got to figure out. We have Florida State conference futures. I think we're pretty good on a lot of conference futures, to be honest with you, with the portfolio. So I have to think how I'm going to attack that one. But we'll revisit that on Friday, see where the market goes right now. But I agree with the early initial move on Louisville, but I was a little surprised it got bet through 3 today. Jake C in the chat. Baylor out here roasting our spread, but still finding a way not to win. Comical Baylor keeping Dave. Time to bring out the paper sacks. Yeah, I was really stunned by that score for a while. I couldn't believe they were going to win the game outright. Then you dive in the box score. They had 2 long kick return touchdowns. West Virginia dominated statistically. I don't know what they're going to move. The plan is moving forward. Obviously, they're going to fire probably both coordinators. I'm hearing Aranda's going to take over the play calling. We'll revisit them, obviously, during the offseason, but nothing. I'm not looking to bet an over on a Baylor win total next year. I can tell you that.
No, I'm surprised that, honestly, I wonder how much of that is financial that they
could be,
decided to retain him there. Because, I don't know what you took out of this season that could make you want to bring him back. But, yeah, it was about as ugly as it got. And it took, as you said, like a miracle, the couple of kick returns just to keep him in that game, end up losing it anyway. So,
yeah.
I don't know what you take from a positive this season if you're a Baylor fan to kind of go into next year. So
we got nothing.
Yeah.
So
we'll
and
see.
Houston's gonna make a move and probably hire the coach that you should probably be hiring or something in that regard. Right. So yeah, not good. I don't see him and Napier. I don't see making it to 2025. I'll put it that way. Charles Saul in the chat. Can you believe Kent? Yeah, we mentioned this. Kent State finally covered this week. Never give up. I know Joey K secretly had him. Did you?
I actually bet some 21 at post. Not enough to get back what I've lost on Kent State this year. I needed about 10x more to get it all back. I didn't martingale it, but I said, I'm not going to go. I might as well bet 21. I was in. I found it 21. I bet it. Should have bet it a lot more.
This is an interesting. We're going to be attacking this big time because the portal really started heating up today. Who are your best quarterback fits for teams searching this year in the portal from Teeks in the chat? Man, I haven't even got to that point yet. I am hearing I'll just give you some names I'm hearing that haven't. I don't think officially have entered the portal. I'm hearing Cam Ward, Washington State. I'm hearing Will Howard, Kansas State.
Yeah, Howard just jumped in as we got on.
Oh, he did? Okay. Riley Leonard, I think Duke will leave. Yep. So those are some names. I'm hearing there's going to be a ton, though.
Giles might follow Jonathan Smith to Michigan State.
Speaking of that, what'd you think of that? That's your neck of the woods. I thought it was an outstanding hire.
I agree. I think that, listen, between the guys that once the crackheads got off the Urban Meyer train, that they wouldn't shut up about. I don't know why, why they sold people were a lot of the Twitter fan accounts wouldn't shut up with that. But I think it's a better hire than that. Jonathan Smith, I mean, the guy that, listen, he knows that it's going to take a little built Oregon State up from, the basement to get him to be a consistent competitor. So, and I think that's kind of the strategy you're going to have at Michigan State right now,
Yeah.
especially with the 4 top tier Pac-12 teams coming in. So yeah, I like that hire. I think bringing Childs would really help because Michigan State does not have a QB on the roster that's worth a damn. So I think that will probably be a package deal. We'll see.
Yeah, one of the Michigan State quarterbacks jumped in the portal, right? Was it Hauser today?
I don't know. I don't know. There'd be a lot lining up for his services.
No.
Maybe
FCS. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We'll be talking portal. Obviously, we got to talk portal as we prep for bowl games.
You want to hit a couple coaching hires real quick since we only have
let's hit them up. 2 thumbs up for Jonathan Smith for me. I love that hire. I don't know you could do much better, honestly. There we go. Austin in the chat. Elko to A&M. I don't get why he wasn't the first choice. I'd rather have him over Stoops. I thought that was like a done deal. Just makes the most sense. I don't get it. I
don't know why. And then, I mean, the Aggie fan reaction on Saturday night when the Stoops news was leaking was nuclear. I think
that would the Elko hire, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, I think, I don't know why he wasn't. I know they tried to go for like the top echelon and all those names turned them down or didn't even interview. But I think the Elko ones, the Mississippi State, did you see them carrying the AD on their shoulders through the play? Like, I mean, I think Levy's an okay hire.
I agree. I'm celebrating it like
right. Like they got Bear Bryant, back from the dead to come coach. I think that one's okay. But you know what? I guess they needed some. So I mean, they love their ball in Mississippi. I'll tell you that. So
Egg Bowl should be fun with Levy and Lane Kiffin. At least we won't get 17-7 hopefully anymore on a third Thanksgiving night.
You're right. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm not surprised that I think people in the game a little bit know that Lane is one of those names that I gets a lot of clicks. So people, I don't know if he's a big time job guy. We've talked about that on the show before. I wouldn't have him on any of my lists for elite programs.
Not buttoned up, man. That's what worries me. Just not buttoned up. And a lot of times he follows a big year with a less than stellar year. He did at Florida Atlantic too. It's just, he's too much of a roller coaster ride for me. And I don't think he's an elite recruiter. He's not a dog on the recruiting trail as far as putting in the hours.
Agreed.
That's just my gist. I don't think he is. What is that the gist you get?
No, I agree. I think that's honestly some of the people in the know confirm that he kind of wants to do his thing, have other people recruit, get some guys out of the portal. So yeah, and I know Ethan there. I know Mississippi State was in a really tough spot after the Leach thing. And there was, they had to try Arnett. There wasn't much you could do. It's like, what are you gonna do there? But I listen. I'm happy that people are excited. I think Levy's obviously an upgrade. The Arnett thing, give him the credit though that to not go down the Arnett, like they basically just kind of you knew very early in the season this was not the route to go down, and Mississippi State's a tough job, and we'll see if they can at least be fun again. Maybe an exciting offense. What Arnett tried to do was like, we're going to be Georgia, but at Mississippi State, like, I mean, stupid.
Should have bet more on the win total on hindsight. Should have had more in individual games. Although I jumped on it right after the Arizona game they won. I thought, hey, this is – and we even bet – remember on the openers we took some Arizona against them. So, I mean, we were fading Mississippi State relatively early. Hindsight's always 20/20. You just wish you would have taken advantage of that. That was not good. But we'll see. I don't know what the pathway is. I mean, with Texas and Oklahoma coming in, I mean, good seasons might be – and what's a great season's 8-4, right? For Mississippi State. Somebody's got to lose these games. This is going to be unbelievable. Wade in the chat, do you guys have any insider thoughts on a potential Penix injury Washington came out and said he was feeling under the weather at the end of the game. It's nearly a 5-week-long flu. Seems suspect. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, wait, like the whole flu thing was right. Like, I mean, unless he's got long COVID, then I don't know if he's not fit. It wouldn't surprise me if he was banged. Like, he was definitely been banged up a few times, and he's a guy with a medical book this thick of injury history.
Yeah.
So he's a guy who gets banged up. He's probably feeling it. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he's not 100% right now, and his play is kind of, it's not like he's been awful, but it's definitely declined from where he was early in the season. And the only way they're going to win this game is you get just a lights out Penix game. So, yeah, and as you see in the market, that I don't think there's not much confidence that that's happening.
Let's switch gears to NFL tonight. Brendan in the chat, any NFL? Obviously, blue horseshoes on in a contest that he's, circa millions that he's, I think, still second or third in right now. I think he's got Chicago tonight.
I didn't.
I don't like it, though, to be honest with you. I'd lean Minnesota.
Yeah, I kind of lean Minnesota now, too. I know there was a sharp move that bought up the 3.5 at 3. I could only bet the Vikings, but I don't know.
Denver last week. Statistically, I know they're on the backup, but man, statistically they've been fine. They're the complete opposite of last year, where they statistically said they were a terrible team, and yet they luck boxed into all those wins. Now they're actually unfortunate to be with their record this year. So it's funny how that works. Yeah, I lean Minnesota, maybe a little bit under, but nothing big. I didn't get any confirmation that nothing big came across my desk this week. Bert Brownie's in the chat. Happy championship week, fellas. Thoughts on the Mountain West championship game? I like Boise. What do you like in this one?
This is
threes were bought up today by
Sharp. Yeah, I was gonna say I was leaning UNLV at 3. I never got into it. And then they got all bought up today. So I don't have I don't have a strong take on this one. I got to be honest with you. This would be the one championship game where I don't think I don't have any action on this one, so to speak, yet. So I guess now at the cheaper 2, I might lean Boise too. But this is one that I don't really have a strong take here.
I think Boise's a little undervalued. I think it was addition by subtraction with Avalos gone. They've responded well. I also think, man, they look at their losses. I mean, lost on a last-second field goal against UCF. They should have lost that game, though, statistically. Hail Mary to Colorado State. Misleading loss against Fresno State. A blocked field goal return for a touchdown, a game they outstatted Memphis on the road. I mean, they have the statistical profile of a team that probably should be like 9-3 or 10-2. I don't know. Moment might be too. They're used to playing in these games. The players and the coaches that are remaining. UNLV's not. I don't know. That score looks okay last week, but I mean, keep in mind they were down 20 before they scored those last 2 touchdowns against San Jose State. But we'll see. I like Boise there. Wyatt Para in the chat, Milrow, your 2024 Heisman winner. He'll be one of the 5 favorites heading into the season.
For certainly. Sure. What do you think this? Yeah, I see a couple people with some Daniels tickets asking if they should hedge here on Nick. Who do you think? I think
Nick's wins. Because I'm expecting Oregon to beat the shit out of Washington. If that's the case, he's going to have a good game, and I think he'll win. Now, would I vote him? No, I think I'd vote Jaden Daniels. He's the best player in the country. But I do think Bo Nix wins.
Yeah, I'm leaning that way too. I know that a lot of the odds are
leaning. He's like a minus favorites. This isn't a coin flip.
Well, I mean, they were.
Well, how do you attack that? I think if you like Washington a little bit, if you're leaning Washington, then go ahead and there's correlation. Obviously, you like Oregon, you like Bo Nix to win the Heisman, you like Washington, you like Jaden Daniels to win.
I was trying to see what the updated Heisman, and I know voting open today. So you've got the old are people going to vote before Saturday? Yeah. I feel like that's not as popular now as it used to. Like, I think a lot of people hold their vote and wait till after this. So I kind of lean that way too. If Oregon wins and Nix even has like a average to above average game or better, I think he's going to take it.
He's like minus 160, minus 170, minus 180. I looked at like 3-4 books earlier today.
Okay. Yeah.
Daniels is plus 140.
That to me seems right, because I mean you've obviously got to mix in that he could lose or they could win 7-3, something like that. But yeah, it seems like if he wins it, I know the SEC and they're not. Those people are
They're
doing
going
their
to be
best
pretty
to still.
solid down there. You got to keep in mind there's regions that vote.
Yep.
And it's not as regional as what it used to be when I was a kid, when you'd have one guy would get the votes in this region, one guy would get the votes in that region. But they'll be pretty solid. They'll have a solid front in the South. Daniels will get the majority of the first place votes down there, I would guess. Right?
Yeah, our friend of the show, Tailgate Tent's doing his best propaganda campaign to try and get the Daniels winner. But I don't know. I agree. I think if Nix wins handily, it kind of consolidates a lot of the vote, where you're not going to get this split vote in the Northeast or the West Coast, and that I think a resounding Oregon win kind of basically gets everybody on and the athletic poll. Nix was leading last week. All he did last week was beat the hell out of the rival Oregon State. Good. So
yeah,
it kind of seemed. Yeah, I think
I was worried. LSU. We didn't even talk about that. That was one of the best bets I gave out on the early release show on Monday morning. I had to sweat that one out. Daniels wasn't playing that great for at least the first 30 minutes or so.
I mean, they did. Is after the game stats look good, but for like the first 2.5 quarters, it was like, are they going to lose?
That's what I thought. I'm like, oh my God, my boy Brian BK going to be on the hot seat next year. He loses this game. He can't go 8-4 with the Heisman Trophy winner. Are you kidding me?
Oh, wow. We got to get to Wade here, because I know what's happening in Colorado's had their 2024 QB decommit, their 2025 QB commit decommit, and their best running back commit decommit. Yeah. And their recruiting class has basically,
the offensive staff's going to get shaken up. Should have never demoted Sean Lewis. Unbelievably stupid. Great hire. I mean, I got to give him credit for hiring him in the first place, but I can't believe he demoted him. Just ridiculous. It's going to be a dumpster fire. But I'm just going to sit back and relax. And, I mean, hey, we said it'd be a dumpster fire this year. And guess what? At the end of the day, who was right? I'm just saying. I took my lumps in September. Come on. I tweeted that out earlier. So it's just.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that stupid Sean Lewis, it derailed all their momentum on that. Like they were everybody. You could have lost these games, but still, I don't know. It just felt like once
you still had like a top 25 looking offense.
Right. Where you can still sell that. Now you go to like, who wants to play for Pat? Is Pat Shermer going out there recruiting? Who wants?
I don't know.
Who even knows who he is?
Maybe the chat. Did he hire Warren Sapp on the defensive line?
Did he?
I thought something like that. Was it Sapp or somebody? I don't know, man. Somebody in the chat tell me.
Yeah. Well,
that is just. I just think it's going to be.
I missed that. But
yeah, I thought I was reading stuff. I mean, obviously, I'm more focused on the teams that are going to be still playing in the bowls, but I thought I saw something like that. It's going to be. Oh my God! Yeah, it's just. I will wait though. Let's let the Sunshine Pumpers pump this up still. And talk about how great this is going to be, because I think it's going to be bad. And if it's not bad, it's going to be really bad after he leaves, because nobody's committing to Colorado. They're committing to Prime. So, I mean, this is not going to be good. It's going to be fun, though, in offseason talking about Colorado football, because it'll be never a dull moment, to say the least. Let's keep getting to it here. Thomas in the chat. Not sure if you ever mentioned it, but according to your data, how much did the running clock affect totals? I think scoring was down a little bit, but if you blindly bet the over this year, you were above 50%. There was more overs than unders this year, I thought.
I think that first weekend kind of like threw everybody into the tizzy. I remember the old horseshoes. So we have betting every under. How could you forget? And then it basically, as you said, leveled out and even kind of went to the over a little bit. So it didn't bother me as much as I thought it. I will say, like, a lot of the game, I mean, they just filled the game time with like more commercials. I guess
shorter game times.
No, it didn't really do anything for the fan experience. But I guess from a betting standard, a game, it didn't really,
Yeah, I don't. After the first week, I mean, it really never was coming across my thought process. Other than Horseshoe taking victory laps for anything that he has, you don't never hear about the losers unless I tweet about them. It's funny how that works. Steven in the chat, FSU Louisville thoughts, sitting on Florida State 2-1 ACC ticket, but only want a hedge of Louisville. Well, I think Louisville obviously was the right side early.
Yeah. If you want, that's what I mean. It's one of those.
I don't know what you got. What's the game plan there? I don't know.
I mean that it's
not cheap now. I mean,
no, that's the price. Yeah, I mean, it was one of those. Hindsight's 2020, but I would have told you, bet some 4.5 that was out there, some 4, some 3.5. At 2.5 now, part of me would just say either wait live or just let it ride.
Wait on the Huskers. You will get +10. What's that mean?
He was thinking, well, it did flash 10 at Circa at Washington today, and then
okay.
Took a big bet to get back down. I saw it go 10-8. So
yeah,
I would say 10's the buy point where people are it's gonna trade back and forth, but you're gonna have buyers at 10. But yeah, I think if you wait around, you'd be able to get one if you want it.
Huskers, I was thinking immediately Nebraska. I mean, that program is almost dead to me. So sorry I had that in my head. I wasn't even thinking Huskies. Heard Pavia can't lift his arm. Your boy Mike.
Yeah. Listen, shoot him up with whatever you got down there and south of but they're close enough to Mexico. You can probably get some some real good stuff there to get him up. Yeah, I know he's gonna need. I will say he did not play very well versus Jacksonville, even though they got the win. He didn't play great. He's going to need normal self. Yeah, you're going to need.
I kind of like Liberty this week. I'm just telling you. We'll see what number it is at the end of the week.
Listen. I'm not going to. They made the championship game. I'm not going to complain. I don't know why you played. Why are you playing him in this stupid Jacksonville State meaningless game? It didn't mean anything.
I can't believe he played in the Auburn game. To be honest with you.
Like, what do you? I know Jerry Kelly's a football guy, but just give the guy a week off. You were expected to win 4 games this year. You're in the conference title game. You got to be locked up. You're playing a meaningless game. I don't know why he did that. So it is what it is. But hopefully, Pavia's as tough as he comes.
We'll see. We'll revisit, and we're not giving out a lot of best bets now because we kind of want to see how the market shakes out for Friday. Maybe we'll have one at the end. I'll revisit with Knish on that, but we haven't given out too much there. Just we want to see where the market goes. Anthony in the chat: Ohio State is not a top 12 team in the country. I disagree with that. They are.
Do you think there's any? I agree. I mean, I think they're. Listen. After watching that game versus Michigan, very thin margin. If they played it again, the line and it's at Michigan,
they have a little bit better quarterback. I think they win.
I agree. And so it really, I mean, that early McCord mistake kind of set the tone there, and then he wasn't able to finish the last drive. So do you think they got a chance to get in? Like, you probably
no.
I don't.
I mean, it's total chaos, which I don't see, man. I mean, we get to it. I mean, we haven't talked Texas yet. I don't see Texas losing. That's Grant in the chat, -14. I bet Texas this week. I don't see that. I don't see the Oregon. Florida State, losing. But then, Georgia, Alabama is right there. I mean, the winner is fine. Michigan's not losing. Who's losing?
I don't know. Listen, that's what I said. I think it's kind of like, and plus you've got, would you get, if Washington loses close, would you put Ohio State in over Washington?
No, you wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. I don't, after last year, it's like,
They're out.
I think they're out too. I know some people disagree that they still have a chance, but there was some 26-1 on FanDuel, I think, for them to get in. They got bought down a little bit, but I think the Buckeyes are donezo, hopefully, for Joey K's bankroll.
Lloyd and Harry had a better shot in Dumb and Dumber with Mary Swanson.
I don't. There's no way you would leave Texas out for a one loss. Someone, one of my idiot, guys I bet with was trying to argue that last night. Texas would get in. Over. There's no way Texas is out if they win and Florida State loses.
Yeah. Who does get in? If the favorites win, who's getting left out? Is it Texas?
I think it right, because unless you're gonna leave Florida State out for Texas,
you can't
which
do it.
I could maybe see the committee doing.
Maybe there is a chance of that, but my goodness, that would suck for Texas. I wouldn't be crying a river, but I do have Texas.
It's tough because you'd have the undefeated Florida State, but the backup quarterback going to be a double-digit dog, in a playoff
Georgia
game.
And Michigan. Oof.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for as a college football fan. Nothing against my Florida State fans. I get it. And as a college football fan, I want Louisville to win. I don't want Florida State in the playoff. That's me personally. I want to see some competitive semifinals, at least on paper going into it. I don't want to see Florida State in there. They'll be a double-digit underdog against Georgia or Michigan, and I'm going to bet Georgia or Michigan at that number. Charles in the chat, boots on the ground, ACC Championship game, played the under already with weather, FSU's current state. Weather's supposed to be bad. It's early. I don't know how.
Yeah, I know.
You guys bet weather is unbelievable. I never seen the market bet weather on Mondays before.
I liked the weather, I liked the under just on
regardless.
The surface. It was just numbers. I don't even know what the weather. Listen, if there's weather, great, but I'm not one of these week in advance weather reports. How many times has that backfired this year?
Yeah. I like the under, though. That being said, forget the weather. Like the under now, and that was the right move in the marketplace there, to say the least. Brendan, I should have gave that out in the tout service, too. I don't know why I didn't. Chicken shit. Brendan Linhart in the chat. Walker Howard going. He's going. Is it Walker Howard again? He just sit out now. He just transferred from LSU to Ole Miss. Does he mean I
think Will Howard, he meant.
Yeah,
Will
okay.
Howard hit the portal.
I was going to say Walker Howard hitting the portal again. Unbelievable. Isn't he going to be the quarterback for Ole Miss this year? Or no, Dart's supposed to come back maybe. We'll see. There's a lot to sift through that. We got 9 months, folks, to sift through that. We're going to need every one of those 9 months, to be honest with you. Trevor in the chat, still valuing grabbing an Oregon future. Plenty of time. You watch every other top 5. I don't know. I always think the money line rollover is always going to pay out more for the most part, right?
Yeah,
I like this Oregon team. I got them number 2 in my power ratings right now.
Yeah, I could see. I think the best price I saw out there was like 5-1. No, I didn't know if there's.
I like that 4. Yeah, you're right. 525 at Circa this morning. Yeah,
so it doesn't. I mean, because you've got to factor in this week's game as needing it in there in terms of the price as well. So it's just a little short for me. I agree. I'd rather just.
I don't think they're going to get Florida State in the semifinals, so there's a chance.
Right. You're going to be playing a Georgia.
They'll probably play Michigan. They'll punish Michigan. Yeah. They'll give Georgia, Florida State. Let's just say the favorites win. Georgia, Florida State be the 1-4, 2-3 be Michigan, Oregon. Well, that's going to be pick 'em at best, right?
Right. So
or then Michigan maybe in a slight favorite, maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So I just think the money line, and then say they play Georgia, they'll probably be a slight dog there. Money line roll over that one. And it's for you're going to get a better payout. Army Navy line is open. Anything you guys playing in that game? I am not. I do have an announcement. I got to get with the guys, Moretto, Pizza Man, you guys. I can't make that Friday show. I'm going to the game.
Oh, you're going to Army Navy.
I am going to the Army Navy game. I'm flying out on Friday afternoon sometime. So we'll have to adjust our schedule next week. We can't do a Friday show. So we'll figure that out.
All right. Yeah. This is the first one you ever been to?
It is. Have you ever been to it?
No. I mean, obviously it's a spectacle, but BP.
I told the guys I was like that I'm going with. I'm like, because I think we're gonna be on the field. I'm like, oof. I mean, I better bring a tissue because I tear up watching it. I mean, the pregame festivities. I don't know. It's just Americana in the final year of college football as we know it. I don't know, man. That might be rough for me. But with everything, the flyovers and everything, the patriotism and stuff. Oof. But I can't wait for it. I'm not looking forward to the cold. It's in Boston. I wish it was in Philadelphia, but this year it's in Boston. But I'm excited for that. Not excited for the plane trip. That's a long plane ride. Guy S in the chat. Tulane minus. Oh, have you bet anything Army Navy? I think FanDuel. Zach, if you want to pull it up quick.
Awesome. Gun to my head, I'd bet Army, but I haven't bet it yet.
I would lean Army at that number.
I saw somebody already ask about it. They're going to be about 8.
What are we doing with the total?
There it is. There's the. I mean,
31.5. We going under? I'm not. I mean, I'm saying.
I'm not either. I'll probably wait for the steam down. Try and get like over 28 or something.
That is the one game that I think it's okay to tease. That one is standalone game. I'm not saying bet the house, the wife, the kids, the car, but the tease, especially if it's a long teaser on the side, and then if you tease up as far as the over, like get like a 23, like over 23 or something. I think that one's okay to tease. Tulane minus 5.5. Can't wait for this one. Waited 45 minutes. Maybe we have a head-to-head here. You thought I was nuts. with
I
my
did
SMU, and
think
I
you were
probably am. I'm
that's
way off
right.
market, but give me SMU at that number. Preston Stone's not worth this much, in my opinion.
All right.
Your boy
I'll,
Tent would agree too.
well, now even at this price, I would agree. When I saw, listen, I thought,
I think you said it was 4 still, I think.
yeah, you know when it was like, listen, Tulane, a slight fave, you do a 3-point adjustment for and I can see 3.5, 4, 6, some 6s out there now on SMU. That to me is a bit rich. Now I will say, granted, the game was in hand and all that. The guys they put in after Stone did not show themselves too well, but I agree with that. I can't. I think now that the number's at 6, penny lean here. I can only bet SMU at 6.
Let's see where this is at Friday. I mean, if it's still 6, I'll own it. I'll take SMU. I mean, I got to bet my numbers. Preston Stone's not worth that much. I downgraded SMU 3.5 points. I don't think he's worth a touchdown. I watched this kid play, man. He's okay. He's not great. I think the Jennings kid is okay. I've seen him a few times. He can run around a little bit. I think they'll be okay. I like the under. That was the tout service pick, was the under there. It's moved a little bit, but I still would lean that way. You're right. SMU's offense went bye-bye after Stone went down. We'll revisit that one. You want to go head-to-head at 4? 4.5? No, I said 4. You should probably take the 4.
Yeah, I probably should have bought.
But I bet 4, so I already bet it at 4, thinking I was getting a deal. How did that go? North Carolina, I told you would win. There, who's 7-5? Knish?
Oh, the Clemson minus 7.5, baby.
There he goes. Knish wins 7-5-1. Unbelievable. I figured North Carolina got me. Yeah, the 2 win totals are really hurt me.
The Carolina,
South Carolina. Oof, that was rough. Wow. Good job, man. I tip my cap. 7-5-1. Close. Good job. I guess I owe you a dinner, bud. If Bama wins, how can you pick from them Georgia, Tech, and from them Georgia and Texas? Well, Georgia's out. Georgia needs to win to be in, as far as I'm concerned.
You think Georgia's out?
If they lose, they're not in. Who would be in?
I don't know, my friend. I think a 1 loss, if it's a close game,
these games have to matter, man. They have to matter, right? Texas should still get the tiebreaker over Bama, and then Bama had the tiebreaker over Georgia.
I think 1 loss Georgia. Let's say FSU loses. I think 1 loss Georgia is in over 1 loss Texas.
1 loss Georgia, not a conference champ, who lost to the team that Texas beat on the road, would get in over a conference champ. No way, man. What price do you want to set that at?
Let's see if it happens.
I will get back this win. I will get back this win stuff right now, because you set the line. I'll bet it. Ain't happening, man.
Let's see if it happens.
If it does, then I'll quit. I'll retire, because then none of this means anything. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, the chat, you tell me if I'm wrong on that. Are you kidding me? They both played Alabama. One team beat them on the road. One team lost them. One team's a conference champ. One team isn't. I don't care that you won 2 straight national titles. No way. Sorry. That got me. That was the most fired up I've ever been on this show.
BP, bringing the thunder, baby.
There's no way they leave them out. We'll see. I'm just not saying it because I got a Texas hat on either. Yeah, you cannot. These games have to matter at some point. And I'm Mr. Power Rankings. Yeah, I would still have Georgia favored over Texas. Obviously, I'd have Alabama favored over Texas right now. But games have to matter. Tyler in the chat. Thoughts on Texas OK State under 55. Mr. Muscles likes the under. I don't. I like the over.
I do too. And
you want to best bet that over? Let's go ahead. I want some friction now.
Yeah. Let's go. I like the over there. I wish we could have got because that one got jammed right back at him.
Yeah, he's wrong.
So yeah.
How many fit? There's enough 54.5s out there. Let's do 55 is pretty key totals number. Over 54.5. I love it. Boom. Yeah, Texas needs probably margin maybe a little bit. Oklahoma State runs tempo. Let's go over. There was remember we talked about there was a little bit of battling in the marketplace last week. Hell, Texas went over themselves. The Texas game. So yeah, let's go over. Best bet. You okay, best betting it?
Yep, I'm good with that.
There we go. Thank you to those that watched 50 minutes of this. Saving for a best bet there. Told you we'd get the one. Garrett in the chat. Joey should we be sweating our OSU no to make the playoff future, or should we thank your Wolverines for the cash? No sweat there. They're not making
You need
it.
a lot. Like, you need Florida State to lose. You need
Which is
Oregon to
possible.
lose. You need.
Oregon needs to lose because that'll knock them out.
Yeah,
I don't see it. Texas has to lose.
They're Texas to lose. Unless you're one of those people that think one loss Ohio State's getting in over a one loss Texas, which I don't. Then
no.
So you need multiple big upsell. It could happen, but I don't think we're getting the chaos as we did last year.
Agree. I think that was you. You gave that out in the summer, right?
It was honestly it was like week 3. They still there was some minus.
Oh
yeah, out there, and I was like, this team's. And now, granted, they did end up playing better throughout the season, and making. But
they were fortunate. That Notre Dame game again.
Yeah,
the difference between Notre Dame and Michigan. Michigan intercepts the pass. Notre Dame doesn't. Come on. Story of my life. James in the chat. Any college football playoff futures you see value on? No, I at this point, I mean, it's moneyline parlay. I was looking at it today to see if I saw some. I hate Washington. Don't like Florida State. Alabama 10-1 as high as that, but even then.
The only one I saw the other day that I thought was there was a Texas 12-1. Now, granted, almost
10-1 today is the highest I saw.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to factor in a Florida State loss into that price there, to be sure you get in. But
man, I want Georgia, Michigan, Texas, and Oregon.
Yeah,
you got all four corners of the country.
If those teams win, I think you can talk yourself. If you're in a room with a bunch of guys that are only care about TV money, I think you can talk yourself into like,
oh my God, the TV money. You got 4 different regions of the country. You're going to have 4 teams within closely power rated. That would be our best semifinals ever, going out with a bang, 10 year of the playoffs. That's what I really want as a college football fan. It'll be fun. The betting markets too. Be very competitive. Love it. Trip, hat tip to Brad for being the lone voice this summer on West Virginia. Yeah, I was very bullish on the Mountaineers. I do West Virginia radio. Been doing it for like 8 years on a weekly basis. And they hate Neil Brown. I'm like, you guys are idiots for hating this guy. I don't think he's that bad. So kudos. They got 8 wins. I'm happy for him because I think he's a good dude. 8-4 is a pretty good season. When you don't have more talent than anybody else, you look at their schedules. They always play 11 Power 5 teams. They play Penn State and Pitt non-conference. They're not scheduling automatic wins. I'm very happy that he was able to get it done. Trevor in the chat, what do you think happens in Texas quarterback room? Ewer stays, goes to the draft.
This is
Malik Arch. What does happen here?
I
was hearing Ewer's going to stay.
I agree. I don't think he's a first couple round prospect so far. So yeah, if he stays, I feel like Murphy is definitely gone. And then, honestly, sources that I think Arch's NIL deal's too good to leave, to be honest with you. So
good point.
I think he would just wait one more year, and Murphy probably is the one that heads out.
Will in the chat, yeah, this one's easy. Does Texas make the playoff with a win and a Florida State loss? Absolutely, they have to make it. It is. I mean, just not because they would deserve it, but also TV money, Texas. I mean, come on. Trip in the chat, Brad going full Mad Dog Russo with the retirement bet. Yeah, I mean, I would stick to my retirement bet. I made a retirement bet last year in college basketball. I'll never tout college basketball again. What was it? Charlotte blew like a 20-point lead. I said, I'm done. I'm not sweating this shit out on a daily basis anymore. Yeah, if that happens and they do that, they put Georgia in over Texas, I'm done. I'll retire. I'll have a retirement show, and that'll be that. You'll never see me again. I'll go to the farm. So we'll see. You cut that up, Zach.
Yeah.
You got anything else that were leftovers? Did we cover every game?
Well, no, we missed one, baby. We missed the big one.
Sunbelt?
Big Ten.
Oh, Big Ten and the Sunbelt. We did an hour, didn't even do 2 of the games. What are you doing in the Big Ten? I know you played some early Michigan.
Yeah, I played.
I'm looking for 24.
Michigan.
I'm looking to bet Iowa. No,
there's a little banged up. Like, so you lost your guard
they are
center.
banged up.
You lost your number one corner, Will Johnson. I doubt he played. Now, granted, you're playing a team that can't throw the ball, so I don't know how much the corner, but I would be surprised if Johnson plays in this game. With that said, it's an Iowa team that is just last in the. I wanted to give you the other podcast credit, like last in the country in yards per game. Last, like dead last
offense.
They
couldn't find a team with this type of offense that's ever won 9 or more games before in the history of college football.
And so, I mean, it's a team, they lost 31-0 at Penn State.
And it wasn't even that close.
And it wasn't that close. And if anything, they've lost some players since then.
Good point.
So I don't know.
Charles Saul in the chat, Iowa money line.
Yeah, I'll retire. That'll be the Joey K retire. If Iowa wins this game with this team, that'll be the Joey K retirement bet. I tell you what, I was a little bit joking on Twitter. I said I would need 40. I need more. I would need a number that's not going to appear to bet Iowa in this game. I think you get this is a classic lot. I think unless you think Iowa gets out to a fast start on offense, just play a number live. So I don't know. I'm not buying Iowa in this one, even though
Michigan. I think that's probably is the best way to attack it. If it gets, I could see a slow start, and you can get a much cheaper number on Michigan. Not that Iowa's going to score, but maybe Iowa's defense gets a couple of 3 and outs. It's maybe scoreless after the first quarter type of thing, and then bet Michigan.
Yep.
Doesn't it feel a little bit? Wasn't that the case they played 2 years ago?
Yeah, and it was a grinder for the first quarter and a half, and then Iowa just the dam broke, and then and honestly, I think it's a slightly better Michigan team and a slightly worse Iowa team from that year.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So I'm not. It'd still be Michigan or nothing for me, even at current.
I'm looking. We didn't talk MAC. We didn't do anything. I mean, that's unbelievable.
There's a lot of news topics here. Return to the MAC. I loved under here. It's moved a bunch.
Under, yeah. I lean Miami too on over a touchdown.
Yeah, no. I don't see any 45. I would lean that way still. I think under was the best, but
I bet that. Yeah,
it's one of those that just got a lot of these got the pretty beat up early today.
Nobody waits anymore. I get blamed for it, but nobody waits for anybody anymore.
Texas is actually even steaming more as we speak. Some 15.5 starting to pop there. So
makes sense. That's how high my power rating is on the game. I was surprised by that. Troy, App State, Sunbelt. Any other thoughts there? I laid a little 5 on Troy. I like this App State team. I got both. I got both teams future, so I made it 7. But App State is certainly surging.
I will. Yeah, it's a very conflicted. I bet some early Troy numbers. And I get it, season long, you would say Troy, if you believe in this App State resurgence, though.
Yeah, good point. They're not going to be intimidated either. They went into JMU, and beat them. So
it's really like the last month of the season, the offense, especially, they're just playing fantastic ball. I kind of like the over here, especially at 51.
My best bet it.
If you're with that at 50, I bet some 50.5, and then I thought it got up and came back down. So at 51, though, I'm a buyer. If you can get a couple of those X there, Caesars has got it, a couple others. So
I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Yeah, no disagreement. Yeah, their offense surging a little bit. Troy's offense has played a little bit better too. This will be one of their best offenses they've seen in a while. Remember when they faced South Alabama? South Alabama's quarterback was out. Troy's defense, I'm talking. So yeah, there you go.
Where's this game being played? I see TV.
It's at Troy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's at Troy.
Right.
Tough, but App State almost beat North Carolina. Beat James Madison. This just team, they beat A&M last year. I don't think they're well coached, but they're kind of like poorly coached where, you get like, I don't know, when you get a effort, App State, they're really good. They're like the best team in the Sun Belt. And then you have games like they're losing to Old Dominion. So they're not consistent, but I expect an A+ effort from App State here. Anything else that you want to get off your chest? Lions going to rebound. I think they're the play this week, right?
I hope so.
No?
I saw our linebacker Anzalone, who's having like a Pro Bowl type year, I think is out for this game. So that's that's a little
How much
concerning.
is this linebacker worth? You're going to be like Fez when he said the Dallas Cowboys linebacker Sean Lee was worth like 1.5 points back in the day when I was doing that podcast.
I saw a friend of the show, Hitman, liked him some Lions this week. I don't, man, that was a really ugly Thanksgiving performance. I tell you, the city is shook after that Thanksgiving performance. We need to bounce back.
I'm shook. That started the whole downfall. Thursday and Friday, probably my 2 worst days ever. Anthony in the chat, we'll talk FCS on Friday. There'll be some value there. I think people were surprised. I laid a big favorite over the weekend. Wasn't afraid to lay the big one. That was actually a good result there.
Yep.
Probably won't be North Dakota State, though, this week, just being honest. There's Montana State, North Dakota State's more like a semifinal game, not a Sweet 16 game. So that'll be a good one there. But we'll get to that Friday. Need more books to post them. They were pretty good posting, though, last week. So that was good for a change. That'll do it. Best bets, just to recap, we are on over in the Big 12 Championship game, over 54.5, Oklahoma State, Texas. We're on over also in the Sun Belt game, over 51, App State, Troy. Good. We get to root for some points. That'll be fun for a change. I guess we'll see you guys Friday. Make sure when you're leaving, though, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Keep in mind, we just recently passed over 4,000. So thank you to all of you that have been watching us throughout the season. And for all the show updates, make sure you're following at Hit the Books HQ and at the Hammer HQ on Twitter and X. For the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish. For producer extraordinaire Zach Phillips, I'm Brad Powers. You just watched Hit the Books.